Hello, my name is Rebecca Hastings. I am a digital archivist with the University of Idaho's Special Collections and Archives. Today, I will share my experience preserving the University of Idaho website. I'll talk about how I collaborated with colleagues, navigated resource constraints, and used multiple preservation approaches to get a pretty solid capture of university website content, despite my own inexperience going into this process. So the University of Idaho completely overhauled its main website in mid-August of 2025, pivoting toward a much leaner site that is geared toward prospective students. This new site cuts out many years worth of old digital content associated with university programs and events and news, other material that Special Collections and Archives feels is worth preserving. So in December of 2024, the library started a contract with Archivit. We started with a low tier 256 gigabyte per year data budget. And I spent a while just learning how Archivit works, its processes, its pros and cons. And it turned out to be a pretty good kind of training wheels intro to web archiving for me. And it has yielded pretty good results so far. So what did I actually capture? With a 256 gigabyte data budget, we could not get the entire site, but I also didn't think that we needed to. We, in my department, are archivists. We know how to be selective, how to appraise, how to weed. So I, for instance, captured content for the main academic units, student life, web pages associated with old courses and instructors, university governance. I chose not to grab material that we were preserving in other ways. For instance, we just downloaded PDFs of U of I extension publications. Some material, like the degree finder tool, did not fit within our archival collecting scope. Some other material, like the president's office web material, I just somehow failed to capture. That's an unintentional oversight that I'll just have to live with. Some other people captured this material through the Wayback Machine, so it's not completely lost. Ultimately, I used up more than 220 gigabytes of our 256 gigabyte data budget, captured material that aligns well with our existing archival collecting scope, and I hope offers a new set of historical resources for the university. But the Internet Archive captures, they are pretty static. They're not always easy to search. Not everyone likes using the Internet Archive. Fortunately, the University of Idaho Library has a great digital collections platform called Collection Builder. We used Collection Builder when the old university web content needed to be more actively available and updatable. For instance, the Martin Institute, it's an international studies program at the university, was not going to have a place for its Martin Journal, its annual publication, on the new website. So working with both the digital humanities folks in the library and the Martin Institute folks, we made a new digital collection to host the journal. When they have a new issue, we just update the digital collection. And we did the same for the registrar with the University of Idaho course catalogs and the engineering department for their expo posters. And so this is a much more dynamic preservation option than just Internet Archive captures. So I feel that we gathered material from the old site in a very practical and flexible way. We certainly could have just gotten a bigger Archivit data budget and set the tool to capture everything at uidaho.edu. But I think that our more curatorial approach used our resources better and got more usable results. We have capture collections that are directly related to our existing archival collections, plus some new digital collections that campus partners can actively update and link to. Aside from my failure to capture President's Office materials, we were thinking ahead to what would be useful in the future, and we pulled together some collections that show campus stakeholders that the library is a good source of information. It supports the rest of the university. We also showed that our tools that we have at hand, Archivit and Collection Builder, are flexible, immediately useful, and worthy of ongoing investment. So the process has taught me a lot about technical and ethical aspects of web archiving. I was pretty new to the university and to digital archiving when I started this process, but I got a lot of support from my colleagues, especially the more tech-savvy folks in digital humanities, and they helped me with preserving the right web content in the most appropriate way. So some takeaways. We worked within constraints to get a more thoughtful selection of materials that aligned with our collection scope. And we used our resources better than if we had just tried to capture everything. We used Archivit for broad static captures, and we also created some dynamic collection builder digital collections for more active material. This worked better than just a one-size-fits-all approach. And I also benefited a lot from my colleagues' expertise, especially in digital humanities, to get good digital preservation solutions that are actively useful to us.